Welcome back, League fans. Thank you for sticking with us. We're gearing up for Game 2 of Cloud9 versus Echo Fox. And after a slow but mostly one-sided victory for C9 in Game 1, we're going to see if they come back, do it again in Game 2. However, Echo Fox definitely showed a bit of life in that game. The picks and bans, I think, might have thrown them off a little bit more than they were expecting.
Yeah, I definitely think Cloud9 had a much better composition at the start, even like the Bard to counter the Jhin and so on. The Shen, though, for impact, like, you are not supposed to win that matchup against Gangplank, and he did. And he opened up the game, just earning himself player of the game, affecting the side lanes. They were defensive ultimates, but it was mostly because he's the only one on the team that was playing really aggressive up and forward, and everybody else was playing really defensive. That's something that Hard needs to be able to take advantage of. Hard's routing during the early game was quite good, but then when it hit mid-game, he didn't revisit those lanes. He didn't actually have really good decision-making either around objectives. Like, when you're doing the Ocean Drake, you have to have vision of the other objective when it's a possibility on the table.
Top definitely getting a hit this game. Aurelia already off the board, so that means Fox has something in mind already. KFO wants to play something different. You're like, not that Gangplank again. I'll carry a little harder with something else. That was a hard. Vlad also picked out. Expect the Anivia to come through. Maybe they'll let that go to Froggen. We will see. Ashe and Sivir was the last ban, so that could be the Sivir Anivia here. Junglers, again, getting through.
Have to assume it's the Anivia. It's always banned against Froggen. Would leave Sivir on the table, which you would expect to be the first pick. Rek'Sai possibly the Meteos, or if they really want Rek'Sai on their side. And yeah, there's the Sivir. So I assume it's a Rek'Sai first pick here for Hard. Trying to think what else you would want to take. Anivia first pick in case they want to take it away, but
I saw KFO laughing at first. They're maybe trolling this one a bit. You can pick Anivia at any point in time you want, unless Jensen does, then that would be even more hilarious.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be so troll.
But I think you're right on the Rek'Sai here. KFO did really get an easy pickup for Hard, and they locked that one in.
Yeah, don't allow Meteos to have it. I think that's really the big thing is you really don't want Meteos to walk away with that champion. The Aurelia ban does open up Gnar as a very early pick for your top laner, and you may go for it, but the Shen is still on the table as well. So I assume you go for Jhin with Sivir and Ashe both off the table. And if you're going to take the Anivia, you do it now, but I don't think so. I think you go for support. I think you go Karma Jhin here.
Close.
Ah, all right.
Gnar Jhin with that Aurelia ban, like you said, makes it a little more tempting. And Sneaky will get his 80 carry. Keith had that last time.
Yeah,
the Jhin.
The Gnar pickup very early on with the Aurelia banned out makes a lot of sense, but yeah, that's assuming that Gnar has no more counters left in the top lane afterwards.
Gangplank.
Yeah, Gangplank actually, his barrels just kind of get auto-attacked down by Gnar.
Right. Just kidding.
Go play Shen into it, see what happens. Who knows? Try your luck.
Yeah. A little bit of global pressure already from that Rek'Sai, so looks like they actually want to focus KFO for more of a carry here. They may even let him round out the composition along with Froggen in that sense.
Yeah, I think it might be Karma Fiora here.
All right, so they take KFO's champion now. He has been huge on that Fiora at times.
Yeah, she's also gotten some slight buffs over time, seeing more and more power to her true damage. It's just barely, though. Itemization is also interesting for her. Black Cleaver, you know, since we last saw her at like Worlds and stuff like that, it's really just pushed down in terms of how cheap Black Cleaver is. It gets pretty early on.
Going wild in the EU LCS too.
Yeah.
Recent as of last week.
It's quite aggressive.
Definitely a KFO champion. Cloud9 always likes to wait for a certain time. They lock in together, not giving the other time much room to think, room to get an idea ahead. So that'll probably be like a 10-second knock-in or less. And we'll have both champions on that side. Already looking at the Jhin, at the Gnar. They swap it over. And it looks like it's going to be a Gragas Braum.
Makes a lot of sense here. Braum alongside the Jhin is actually a very powerful combo.
Ooh, all right.
All right.
I like that.
I love it.
Let's take it.
Last week we had Smoothie playing Thresh. And even Bunny Fufu tweeted out, you know, that's really me on stage.
I swear it's me.
Yeah, he actually played a really mean Thresh, and of course he was a Thresh main. I think I've said this like maybe 3 times now. Final time I'll say it. There's this era of Thresh main challenger players that all started making it in. Sheep, Maria,
Yep.
Remy. We had Smoothie, Bunny Fufu, all coming about. Sheep. Yeah, everybody kind of coming up at the same time, and he was one of them. So see what ends up happening. Sutsuru is also in there as well.
What do you want, Keith? What are you picking this game? Showed that love for Tristana already in the hover. It's going to be Froggen's Victor. Once again, we haven't seen too much of the Callista pickup. You're not really going to want to throw a Karma into the fight. You can always pull her out for safety, but it is going to be that Lucian lock-in. Down past the ass. Whoa, nope, not that. Down past the Ashe. Down past the Sivir. No fines. No fines. They get the Keith. They get the Lucian. Not going to be the Ezreal this time. Last pick up here for Cloud9. Jensen thinking, is the bird the word? Do they go the full troll?
That's the question, is like, Anivia was finally left up for Froggen, and he's like, well, people were saying I wasn't playing enough Victors, so I'm going to play Victors. Like, because Anivia was banned. But doesn't want to play it. The Gragas was already locked in. A lot of ways to catch him with a Thresh as well. And it seemed like they were going to bait it, but there you go.
Nice. Get the Vel'Koz. Going to be disintegrating from the mid lane. And also scanning people down with that ultimate. So, completely different composition here from the side of Cloud9. What was a global Rek'Sai Shen comp in the first game switches up now. Pretty good fight comp. They can still initiate some good ones, but everybody has to be participating that time for C9. Fox, more damage to the top. Froggen still in a champion where they can get behind him and double down if they will. It's the strategy we're looking for Fox to use here. Still towards the end of the split, they can still round some things out.
Yeah, they need to get themselves together and prepare for the promotion tournament for Echo Fox.
Yeah.
In Cloud9, and need to lock in that 3rd place spot, so they cannot take Echo Fox lightly in the slightest. And just bringing out a couple more champions here.
The coaches will once again take leave, and the players are ready to get into game and get on the Rift. Make sure you head over to Twitter at LOL Esports, hashtag FOXWin or hashtag C9Win for who you think is going to take this game. We got a bit of a switch up here from game 1. As the analyst Des said, pretty methodical from Cloud9 in the first game with a few scattered mess-ups. Fox, if they can get into those early, if they can get the lead, it seems like they can actually get behind Cloud9's strategy. They did push them out of the base a few times. Can they get it early, or will Cloud9 once again take an early lead for themselves? We're on the Rift, and we'll find out shortly.
And the early lead did go over to Fox last time, where they were able to get that turret. And if they're able to leverage that same type of advantage again, then it may just be something that works out perfectly for them. And KFO, takes Lunge level 1. The changes to Fiora that actually hit in 6:14 were that her early true damage is up by 5, and it's up at 5 at, or sorry, the health that she gets is up by 5 at all ranks. And then the lunge damage, but hold on, we'll talk about that in a second. Look at this catch.
Oh, the hooks! Hook, line, and sinker. Smoothie with the flash in to get the hook. The team benefits.
They just walk right into that, too. Both teams walk up. That's going to be the flash as well from Smoothie. Walk in, walk in. Hey, look at that. Hard body slam.
Ooh.
Flash hook from Smoothie. Not willing to risk it.
He's playing Darkstar as well. So, very interesting. It kind of makes the end of the hook look a little different. But if you've played it enough, it's just like riding a bike. Smoothie comes up big for the team in the beginning and actually gets that kill for himself. Impact was the only one to miss out on that.
Yeah, and if you're playing against it and you aren't familiar with it, it's kind of like dodging a bike.
That's
And you've never dodged a bike before?
Nope, just riding them. Can't say I've dodged a bike. You prove a great point, Cyrene. The things we don't think about all the time.
Yeah, riding the bike, no, not too concerned with that in this game.
So the Thunder Lords in for Jensen, as we would expect. Again, Froggen takes that. And we do get another matched up lane. We would have figured game 1 would have been a swap, but looks like Sneaky and Smoothie and Joy up against Keith and Big.
Yeah, they're not messing around either. Can play that Thresh. So this could be a kill lane, but I mean, he blew both summoner spells. He even blew his exhaust to boot. So it is a bit of an advantage here for Echo Fox, especially since that kill, that first blood, did go over to Smoothie.
Take him a little bit longer to get those relic stacks without having Flay first as well. And hook number 1.
Ahard actually has his smite left, so he'll get a burst of health if he does get the smite onto it. Froggen has to push in. Froggen has to try to get an advantage here.
That's what they're waiting for.
Meteos is trying to get his smite back up. You're wasting too much time here, and he's just going to be in a great spot to actually fight you back.
Meteos sees that Hard is not following, so he wants to go back.
Yeah, here comes Impact.
You've done this so many times, you understand the amount of HP by looking at Hard, how much he's going to lose. You have to be quicker about it.
Yeah, I feel like when it's at 800, you just fight it. You just go. You fight it.
Gets himself up there.
I don't know why you throw the Q when you had Tremor Sense available to you.
And you know he's moving while he's attacking.
Yeah, he wasn't even like...
Wow. Persistence, though. Gotta give him that.
It's persistence, but he's falling behind.
Right, what are they gonna get out of it? They can't get Jensen to come up. Froggen's continuously pushing that wave in, but...
So what he gets out of it is he gets to know where Meteos is during the early game. So if he has an aggressive lane like in the bottom side and you want to make a play, or top is shoving in Impact, like you can't do anything about it as a jungler. Well, he wrestles control from him and actually eventually gets down. Didn't he see the ward go down? I think he saw the ward go down.
He's gonna step away from it though. Hop into the top side. So Gromp is gonna be cleared by Meteos. They're actually free there. Jungle pressure, very odd to start this one off, considering it was that standard laning phase. Looks like Jensen will back to get himself another Doran's Ring really fast, actually, to make sure he can take the lasers from Froggen here. A little bit of that upfront burst damage that Victor has. Seems like they're pinging the bottom side of the map as well. Cloud9 appears to think that Watch Out Hard may actually be on the bottom side. We're pushing up, but Hard's still actually...
I think this is really cool because
Hard
is doing the Krugs now. That'll give him level 3. And Impact's lane is actually going to shove out, so it means there's going to be a lot of damage in it. It's a big wave, but if he does push it too far, he's an easy to gank Gnar. You just have to knock him up when he's jumping and get his flash out afterwards. Forward Vital. He missed the forward Vital.
He actually dashed to his right side as soon as it popped up. Of unfortunate timing there, and the minion wave to bounce off.
Yeah.
So just slightly missed.
You don't even have to go the full distance of the lunge. You can kind of do what he did there with a very short lunge, get it off a little bit faster, and it would have prioritized that. Lunge also helps you hit those vitals very early on.
Wears off, and he gives Impact a little distance. So Froggen playing the top side. Froggen's been hovering this as well, so it's not like he's being inconsistent with his movement, but you still got to wonder if a mid laner feels that comfortable to farm near a brush, they got some support.
Yeah, and the fact that Hard showed himself top and he got nothing for it showed that he had the red, and he was coming from that top side of the map, so Meteos assumes that the other red is still up.
Pretty much mirrored on both sides now. Mid laners know it. Jensen wards up to make sure that he doesn't get caught off guard by any flash trickery still. 46-39. Minions will easily be cleaned up here by Froggen as it comes in as well. Jensen still has that back already under his belt, so he has level 6. He could make something work here. Push Froggen out of lane with an ultimate. Could be quite easy.
Yeah, he actually got a free push too. No upgrade from Froggen. Looks like he's just kind of getting bullied right now. And might die!
Oh! I wasn't sure if it would be enough. I figured the ult would just push Froggen out of lane, but it almost puts him down.
I mean, how often do you play against a Vel'Koz?
Exactly.
Since his rework, and then he got changed a little bit too. So he ended up getting the full research on him and just started doing true damage with his ultimate.
All right. Deconstruction. That's what it is. Like research, deconstruction, I can never remember. Got some technical terms.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's organic deconstruction stacks, and then when there's 3, they become research.
Yep. You have all the information you need to do the damages. We'll see if Jensen can keep getting bigger on the spaghetti monster as it goes. 7 minutes coming up on this one. Mountain Drake's gonna be our first one, and level 6 is almost across the board here Meteos waiting for his. Hard actually level 4, so C9 may be able to activate something off of a full team hit. Rather, KFO has the ult, so he can put the Grand Challenge down. It doesn't look like he's even going to waste it. Knows he's going down, and just takes the hit from
Super good from Meteos as well. Because the body slam gives you too much time to react, and because the body slam flash from a good distance gives you time as well, ends up just body slam flash immediately. So basically starts the frames of the body slam.
Right.
He didn't have to flash, but it was the one that gave KFO the smallest window to react. Incredibly fast. It's the right way to do it. Doesn't take any risk with it too. Just boom. Look at that. You have no time to react as KFO. You have to predict it and take the guess. And even then, you want to do the riposte off of reaction.
Yep. Smart by KFO as well. Saved his flash. Did have to teleport back to lane, so he's going to be able to clean up a good amount of CS. Consider he'll be about another 5-6 up, and then a few waves will be pouring into Impact. So they're pretty even in that top lane as they start to get to their damage items. Looking at the junglers here, Hard doesn't even seem like he's been back yet. Keeping himself as he just does. You see him on the map go for his smite. So he spent some time out in the jungle. Still below Meteos, though.
Yeah, it's a lot of time. In terms of gold, though, he's 250 down. So Meteos with those 2 assists been doing a lot of work.
But he did a heck of a dance early game with Meteos.
That's true. It was a heck of a
They got a
dance.
workout in.
He kept them occupied, but Meteos still finds a way in. Meteos has the ultimate. KFO
Can't get to that backside vital. Actually has to watch out for hyper damage and Magnar. This is a very interesting matchup. A lot of things to consider if you go and fight. And they usually keep fighting within their minion wave, so they can either jump out or dive out.
He got the counter stun, and he doesn't go for the Grand Challenge afterwards and try to beat up on Impact.
That was huge. Oh, Smoothie throws out the hook. That leaves you kind of vulnerable. But Keith also had to dodge out as well. So a little worse for the wear on the side here of Cloud9. They have to be careful. Big can just start throwing out those Qs and start harassing.
Once you get him under turret, it's really the ideal spot to go for the harassment because they're focusing on the waves.
Right.
But at the same time, with
Nothing
the
more to
Thresh, it's so hard because he wants to hook you under turret.
Oh, that
or
was the
just hook
max range. The Flay just out of range, and the tether is going to be there. Big locks him down. The heal coming in as well. Keith has flash to make a play if necessary, and it is going to be a slow walk from Froggen. We'll see if C9 actually stays. He heads back up, called it, pushed out a ward, and they said, no reason to come down, Froggen, you will be seen. Keep farming mid.
Yeah, Big actually played that really well. He ends up getting the Mantra W, so he gets the double part of the heal as well, because it heals you at the start, and then it also heals you the second tick when you have the full chain go off. And he got it off after the flash, so escapes, but they have to blow 3 summoner spells for 1.
Ooh, nice inner flame.
It's actually... Oh, Keith!
What brush control. That's all it took for Smoothie there. Holds the Flay for a little extra time on Keith. Now forces his flash. Hard with a great pop on Meteos, so he can't target. And they're forced to continue going for Big as they pushed him out of the fight.
Yeah, and KFO doesn't have TP. He had to blow it earlier after he got ganked, so C9 make a proactive play off of that. The hook from Smoothie really setting that up. He's been on fire so far.
What a better time as well, or it couldn't be a better time, I should say. Impact has a huge wave to clear after this, and we'll see the play again in the bot lane.
Yeah, and Keith, I mean, rule number 1 against a Thresh is really just be at hook distance away from him.
Yeah.
Just right outside. And when he has brush control, you can't be hanging out there at all. I thought it was the support at first. I thought that was Big in that brush. Supports are usually the ones fighting for brush control.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Smoothie's going to be kind of living in it.
Yeah, I think he wanted to bait for Hard, but still, when you're at a TP disadvantage, you need to call that. And I feel like a lot of these games come down to they're not actually communicating within Fox on what's up and what's down in their lane opponent.
See if KFO can have that teleport back up soon, though, or he will, I should say. But will they make that play now? Impacts is down, a window they can work with. They're already going to start working the bottom side of the map here to get that dragon control. But if KFO actually is half health, he won't be able to teleport in much at all for these instances.
If Impact gets another round of his cooldowns, he has his Gnar available. He could kill KFO just flat out. But he doesn't want to take that risk. He's still actually respecting the power of the Fiora.
That's the question, though, on the other side. The flip side of, does KFO respect his opponent this time? 2 times we saw him going down, standing still in front of his opponent.
Yeah, I think he has to now. Impact got a kill, got an assist now, and he left lane, and he's now up in CS. So KFO is definitely having a very hard time in this lane and in this matchup because Impact has been playing what has usually been bad matchups rather well.
Something we see Impact doing, something you also see Huni doing as well. A lot of those guys can win their lane basically off of how they out-farm you, out-position, and then control it completely.
They also have really good and supportive junglers for their top lane pressure. And look at this. KFO decides to go in now?
Ooh. That's not going to be good for KFO. He puts the grand challenge down, and they say, yes, I accept this challenge, but I also have a tag team partner. Meteos comes in there. They pick up another one. And as KFO tries to put himself on the board, it only becomes tougher in that top lane for himself. And it's got to be, looked at for Cloud9. 2 games in a row, they've able to come out of standard lanes. And Meteos has had that focus on Impact top because he controls that lane, and it's getting set up right for him to start off well.
And this is really good for Cloud9 moving into playoffs. If they can play to their top lane, there have been a lot of top laners in the North American LCS that have been performing incredibly well. And if you're able to actually have a good top jungle synergy, people are talking about how it's so mid lane focused, but now that those champions have started to get some nerfs, Azir, and now like Victor's early game, and even on top of it, right, like there's so many champions, Talia, right, that kind of been knocked down a bit. Having this at your disposal, it seems like such a great strategy with things like Shen that are out of control.
Yep. A lot of people looking for just wave clear in that mid lane right now, so
yeah, and
having that
615 is the lane swap patch, right? It's the one that kind of gets rid of it or makes it really risky. And first turret gold, if you can have this type of synergy, get that turret, boom, your top laner is fed. He's like 500 gold ahead of your enemy top laner, and you can just snowball.
Find the strength in the benefits of standard laning.
Yeah,
you do it now and you're ahead of the game.
Exactly, and like it's what Meteos loved to do before, right? When he was with Balls, and they had that great first season.
Yeah, that is true.
Camp top.
Just zap over the walls every time you can. A riposte for the last one. So he saves himself a bit of damage here. And what is the ring around the rosy? Impact's a little short on that vision ward, but he says, I think up.
Made him use a pink.
As long as he doesn't show himself, he's good to go here.
He guesses right.
Oh, he's got the nose. It's been a while. This is the execute. Well done, but still, this Impact has had basically this lane to himself. 113, he's going to be able to push this one all the way in.
Hard is coming from the backside. This is a gank from the Rex side.
Puts down the box, and that's Smoothie. One more shot. He lives as he throws down the shield. And I don't know if they're going to be able to get out of this. Impact puts himself in the fray, but also has to get out. Meganar was just about to go off.
Yeah, and that would have been a great Gnar as well. He was on top of 3 people. He didn't have the backup, though, of Sneaky or Smoothie, because Smoothie just chunked out. And if he was able to get people low, the curtain call could have come through. Yeah, he actually has Gnar available now.
Oh! What are they? They're getting hit. They're splashing the minions, which means the turret's going to hit them even earlier. And Impact comes in for an ultimate under the turret. They're going to be able to now wipe out a few members of Fox. The curtain call was an amazing idea.
This is ridiculous. Cloud9, game 1 and 2. They just get by early game, skin of their teeth. This is another one of those games where it's 0 kills for Fox, but it could have been 3, it could have been 4. Absolutely incredible. Cloud9 are playing these absolutely perfectly at the last second, and they're gonna get another turret off of that. This looks ridiculous. I thought he was gonna transform. Look at his Gnar bar. He's got nothing in there. And then he throws it back. And by the time the animation is done, he's mini Gnar. It's absolutely well timed. He was backing right before that, thought the play wasn't gonna happen. He had flash, he had leap, and he uses both to get there, and just barely.
Those plays only happen when you are literally reading the mind of your opponent, saying they're gonna come in mixed up in the minion wave, and that's the condition where this works, and that's what happens.
It's like literally a fraction of a second later, and that play just makes Impact look dumb. Because he turns into mini Gnar.
But it worked out, so he looks good.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
He has been having that game that gives him the confidence. The Shen in the first game, now piling over rolling over to the Gnar in this game. 3-0-2, looking to even possibly get a second player of the game here. Sneaky. A little dark passage to the light as he gets saved. And Fox is really, you can see him trying to bite down, like, we need to get something here. We need to get something here. They are being relentless.
You do that at the start of the game, and you need to use hard to do that.
Yeah.
And once again, top side of the map now, 0-6 for Fox. Their only deaths are this top side of the map in the jungle. They tried to focus bottom. Oh, sorry, there's that one death as well for Big. My math was 0-6, but one of them's an execute.
Like, what happened?
Yeah. It's like, but still, they're damage dealers.
Yep.
They're mid lane and an AD carry, kind of untouched for now, but Meteos is really going to focus this side now because Impact, he's just going to take care of business.
Might have been a pretty good stop. It really would have caused Hard some trouble. Probably could have sustained it back up for a few more camps, but now he gets to stay out for even longer.
He's going to go get the blue, too. Yeah. Like, Impact is just going to be as annoying as possible. We saw him try to dive an inhibitor turret or last game. Took 80% of his HP.
Yeah, look, he came to be the first death after things got a little ahead of himself.
Got another blue.
Caulfield's after the Frozen now, doing even more damage to KFO, who's on a Tiamat and Lucidity boots. So he's already got goal side on him. Grand challenge is issued.
He's got to hug the wall. Oh, he finally got it.
Gets the heal. I don't know if it's going to be too much longer. He knows he needs to jump out. It's taken a little too long in his warding in the river. Gives him that idea that he needs to get to safety. Easy to say for me. And we're coming up on 20 minutes here. And everything so far has been Cloud9 on the forefront, writing what's going to happen next. Fox acting reactively, which makes it even tougher.
And Cloud9 are doing kind of an oldie but a goodie here, where you get your top laner ahead, you play to him, and then you stop playing to him completely. And this is a skill that top laners need to acquire, and so do junglers on teams, because you get your top laner ahead, he hits critical mass, and you say, okay, where is that? Where he is the person I'm putting all my resources in, and then you stop putting things into him because he's just so far ahead already that he's creating his own advantages like this, where he pulls two people up, you can make a play on the other side of the map with the numbers advantage 100% of the time. And C9 are doing that immaculately.
Yeah. And we see that it's not just blowing the flash in the top lane.
Yes.
You keep coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Keep coming back, get him like 1 or 2 kills, maybe even 3, maybe that's the sweet spot right there, and then you go elsewhere, and then you start wreaking havoc on the map.
Yeah. Then you expect Impact to come down and help Sneaky get 2 kills, as it has happened as they start these teleport plays being in the lead. No Rift Herald coming through this game. Has just been too much scatter, and the standard lanes have really put a lot of action in the bot lane here, and just some solos towards the top. Now back to the mid. We did see Fox previously in game 1 able to drop the outer turrets a lot faster. This time without that gold, they seem to be having a much harder time. Cloud9's really able to just shut them down. Every entry, all the wards. Already that Ruby Sightstone once again for smoothing. We'll see if Meteos even goes that route again.
Oh, it's a flash on him too, because this is a hook that he's comfortable with.
Just on the edge. Also waiting for the riposte. Nice job for the hooks. Cloud9 now able to just get Fox to disengage from a few across the map shots, and that means it's going to be very hard to guard turrets.
Ooh. Big. Oh, whoa.
One side of the map to the next. This team has so much range to put people in their position. Bring them right back to where they want.
That looked crazy. He
got popped, had the hook on him already,
so
he got dragged back by the hook and the flay.
That was like a wanted hook. That thing like curved around.
Hey, when you're good, you're good. Oh, he catches him on the slow.
Oh, and sometimes you're just not.
Into the wall as well.
Oh.
Gets the Dustbringer on him.
It's so much damage as well. Already has the multiple physical penetration items here. And yeah, look, 3 people are trying to kill Impact, and he's gonna be fine. You have the flash knock up him right when he's in range. Yeah. He's fine.
Nothing.
Now you get mid tier too.
And the Rylai's not even close for Froggen in that build, which would have facilitated that.
Ugh, it's too little, too late. That's the big thing.
They're chasing a bit too much as well, like you said, too little, too late. And now they're going to be too late to this mid lane turret. Not enough minions just yet. So really, C9 nicely prepping the second tier of outer turrets here to go down shortly. The mid one should fall, and bot wave is mounting. pretty good minions.
Yeah, you push this wave up. You have Jensen clear this next one. You rotate to the bottom side, get wards in this whole jungle, clear out their pinks, or don't, or clear out their pinks.
Sharing is caring.
And now you can actually do multiple things here. Impact can charge with an R-bar for a
Whoa! They go right up in Sneaky's face. He curtains call toe-to-toe with Keith and Big, and I think that's exactly what they wanted. Said, go out of position if you think I'm going to be that careless. The team is ready to back me up. Smoothie gets himself in a scary spot, but C9 is still there, and they realize the power of the full 5 in the bot lane.
And now they're just going to zerg this down. Get some damage on it with Sneaky.
Good gravity field. Froggen can't really get into range to do too much clearing and instantly taken down. Smoothie keeps hard in place with the hook and a belly slam from Meteos. And they are now in on the inhibitor turrets. The inhibitor's next, and KFO is even turning his back to. They can't fight this right away. He tries to put damage on Meteos, hit up a wallop and a knock from Impact. KFO forced back to the Nexus and gets taken down by the autos of Jensen and Impact.
Oh, Smoothie!
Very close, he gets taken down. They gotta be careful. This is what happened last time. They got themselves way too scattered as they go for a fight. There's no priority target as they're going in. Everybody thinks they can take one down, and that's where Fox tries to capitalize. However, Cloud9 again gets multiple people out by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, and right there, Sneaky just barely,
Walk back into it. Glutton for punishment.
Man, they just can't pick up these kills. It's just so close to actually having an ace there in favor of Echo Fox, but Cloud9 just barely yet. Hard gets hit up. Oof. Completely destroyed. Impact goes in, and this looks like Froggen is just running so far back, and then he avoids the body slam. And I'm unsure of what exactly it is, but Froggen has to like run away from this fight all the way to the top side. Actually goes near the turret too. And I feel as though they may not be communicating flash timers exactly, because that looked like he was body slam flash range away.
Yeah.
As well as like flash Gnar range. So unsure. Ooh. Keith,
Keith, you're in at this point. You're going for it.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like if he had the Black Cleaver and boots by that time,
you're right.
Maybe he could have like turned into, I guess, Rick Fox status from Korea. And 1v3, but didn't have the gold. Just 2 levels down on the enemy AD carry, and Sneaky once again funneled resources.
Yeah, it's getting very difficult here. 10,000 gold down when your complete core items down as well. There's almost no way you can match up in these fights. Cloud9 knows that. They use this strength to go ahead and take their Infernal Drake. And I'm sure the rest of the Drakes are only on their menu as well. So much control over this game here. Game 2 much more organized from them. And I would say organized. Game 1 was organized. This is much faster as well. They're not giving Fox as much time.
Not at all. And that's what they need to do, because ultimately, Cloud9, they're gearing up for the playoffs. You want to win the whole thing, especially Cloud9, because Cloud9 only got 10 points in terms of championship points. Impact looks like he's just buying. He's doing the Impact thing. He's like, I don't care if I die. I bought time.
And you bought an ultimate as well from Victor. His flash. It could hurt them in the next fight. C9 on the doorstep. A nice move by Keith. Very fast fingers to get out of that for Meteos. That's been literally the engage that's taken down hard in the rest of the team. And this time they buy a little bit more for themselves. The inhibitors stand. It looks like they're going to try another defense.
Yep, clear out the jungle on the way back. Make sure there's nothing there for Echo Fox to take. And Cloud9, like I said, they're gearing up for playoffs. You want to win. You want to get as high as possible, too. And 3rd place means a lot. If they get 3rd place in the regular season, not only do you play one of the teams like Apex or Envy, the 2 that are still in contention for that last spot, you skip TSM in seeding, because you will play Immortals if you move on to the next round.
Yep.
So it's incredibly important to be that 3rd seed versus the 4th. Cloud9 want to drop no games, and they only have 10 championship points.
And it's scary to think that those are like the best options as well, because it's still TSM and Immortals. And you're like, well, I'm going to face them anyways. I just hope not as early.
Exactly. And Immortals, though, they did lose the TSM. They dropped the game to P1 just now as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh. You're pretty crazy. A lot of things can still happen here. A few teams to be switched around within these last games. And like we said, Cloud9, it is in their hands to push themselves forward into that playoff position. Be seated exactly where they want. Black Cleaver's now finished. We were just talking about that for Keith, but he's still so far behind.
Yeah, he also went for a triple armor penetration item here. It's a little bit awkward, but we'll see. He's going for the Maw.
Looking for the outplay here.
Oh,
and he's able to get it as well.
That was
with
a
the
godlike
activation.
play.
He's been waiting for it. He knew he could do it the whole time, and we've been guessing it.
Yeah.
He hasn't.
Well, you can. Fiora is actually really good in this matchup when you're able to get in on him, and I thought that was going to happen way earlier. I was waiting for that grand challenge during the laning phase, and he just got ganked over and over again and didn't respect it. That was insane, though. Flashes to the other side of the wall because that's where the Vital is, and he gets it while Impact is in the air because you know he's going to try to escape that route.
Gets it, activates as well on the passive attack.
Yeah. Oof.
Or I should say the active, not passive. So well played.
Hits the bottom.
Impact
afterwards.
as well, trying to deny vision in this fight.
Boom, boom. Got him as well. Yeah, so that was pretty insane. Also, another thing to like add on top of that is that the riposte does slow your attack speed by 50%. And it always feels really awkward when you get hit by the W that your next auto attack, sometimes you cancel it, but there's just a big delay in it there, which made all the difference. If he had missed that riposte, it's a very different story.
A lot of the things you don't consider as well when you're going in that fight, it's not one of the things you remember right away. Like old Gragas barrels used to slow your attack speed as well, right? It's kind of almost a hidden thing, but it's there.
Yeah, attack speeds are like Anivia's R used to do it too.
It's quite an annoying thing as well. It's something you're really not expecting.
You feel it though. You definitely feel it.
Absolutely feel it. Because usually you have about 40 seconds to think about it when you're dead on the fountain. 30 minutes coming up on this. 12-4 here. Cloud9 trying to end this one a little bit faster. You can see the Elixir of Wrath on KFO as he tries to put even more economy into solidifying these fights because there may only be a few more left.
Exactly.
He's trying to get maximum power. Cloud9 initiating one of those fights. Big knock back. Flashed over the wall. They did give him an out there.
Nice heal.
Good dodge. Looks like they're going to be able to get out of this one, and quite a bit used here by C9, and KFO still has that push. He relieved so much pressure when he took down Impact.
Yeah, and he still has the ability to actually kill Impact again if he plays it right. He just has to get a few vitals first.
Teleports are up for both of these players. That's the challenge.
He's not even hitting those vitals. Missing them just barely.
Rushing through as well. It's got to respect the Mega Nar bar. Doesn't want to go into the inhibitor turret. Cloud9 was actually just positioning around Baron as well. That's pushed back into their side of the jungle mostly. You can see Fox lining up as well. They actually look like they're jockeying for a fight. Gravity Field gets the hook in. Froggen safe in that sense. Smoothie, a few more shots, but the culling is stopped short.
Yeah.
As Keith is forced out of that position.
And gets the heal as well on top of it and has to use the locket, so Smoothie just barely getting out again. You haven't used some summoner spells there, Sneaky with his back.
So KFO getting a little more control on the side lane here. This is what he was hoping to have with that Gangplank in the first game.
I feel like KFO is also a little bit nervous right now. I feel like he has some nerves because the way he's not hitting these vitals during the Grand Challenge is really indicative of somebody who's like a little bit jittery or like maybe having some doubts because those are pretty easy to hit, especially since the Q will prioritize them.
Right.
And then he's just right up inside of Impact.
What's the trade? Inhibitor for Baron. It could be a possibility. Fox would love to break the base if they can get out of this relatively unscathed. And it's going to be Impact being able to get goal side of that inhibitor turret. So Cloud9 holds Baron. KFO not looking good here. He will not be able to get enough health back to survive this fight. And Impact throws him up against the wall and wins that one completely.
Yep, and immediately KFO is like,
how did that
I'm a buy
quick?
QSS. Get out of these stuns.
Yeah.
That doesn't blow it really early on either. Gets taken out, and that's exactly what Impact wanted.
There is a difference that, as well as the Banshee's Veil, could have absolutely helped there. We'll have to see in the next fight when these two tango. Impact is back in now. Remember,
Beautiful.
KFO is down. This is a 5v4, and Fox is getting wiped as they were outside of their base. Numbers down, and Cloud9 takes advantage.
That was a beautiful cast there from Meteos. Body slam, then the flash to get distance, and then it hits Froggen off to the side. Primary damage dealer of Echo Fox, who's 3-1, mind you, still with a very good record, and I would assume is dealing a ton of damage in this game, but he's just not able to pull it off, not able to dodge it, had to use his flash earlier. And then the follow-up of the Deadly Flourish is actually on point too. That's great. Forces the flash out of Froggen, hits him off to the side, Deadly Flourish follow-up there. Because Sneaky could have gone for that last curtain call shot.
But he slows the team.
Onto Hard.
Right.
It may have killed Hard, but he's like right on the edge. Maybe I hit him, maybe I don't. And then he just goes for Froggen instead. And that gives the slow for the flash.
Really synergizing well. This Jhin pick has been at the top of compositions for Cloud9, as well as Cloud9 being able to fight without Sneaky recently in his side lane adventures that he's been going off to. Almost double lift-esque from double lift past. But with the range of the Ashe, what they've been playing, these Ezreals, the Jhin, they can activate those ults and actually still facilitate the engage for the 4 members. Once again, this fight back and forth.
Oh, he's got to get in there now.
There's that attack speed slow onto Impact. He gnars out, and there is the cleanse from the Quicksilver Sash. Pretty good fight, but Impact knows it is a losing battle as it goes now.
Yeah,
He doesn't have a big wall to slam KFO against.
Yeah, and KFO still has the QSS to get out of that.
Yep.
That's good. In inhib, they just force it down. KFO has TP advantage as well, and they're still not forcing it out. Impact was topside, and maybe you could have made a play there. But the engage is pretty hard to pull off with Echo Fox, especially against something like a Thresh, a Vel'Koz, and a Gragas.
Yeah.
It actually feels miserable to be a Rek'Sai against a composition like this. Because when you reach that mid part of the game, the late game part, like I need my flash to do anything in these fights that resembles engaging.
You really could just get played out by Smoothie on your way in. So many little things.
You're going to get flayed, you're going to get body slammed, you're going to get cast.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, you're even going to have a huge tell on where you're coming out of the tunnel for the Vel'Koz to hit you.
That's true. He can pop you up immediately and lock you down in that spot for the rest of the team. Moving down, the finishing touches on the outside of Fox's map. The curtain call starts this one off, and there's so much pressure around the turret. Getting locked down. Big's not going to be able to help for the rest of this fight. He'll be calling shots from the fountain for the team. Froggen as well now gets the overhead view as Cloud9 starts to take down the last inhibitor in the base. KFO teleported in, but now he's being forced out of his own base. And Cloud9 a bit faster this game. Faster than game 1, that is.
Oh, he wants the duel.
18-4. He'll get his duel. The grand challenge is accepted. How far can it go, though? And it stops with Sneaky. They're on the last Nexus turret, and it's going to be the Nexus in the eyes of Cloud9. A necessary 2-0. They get it, and Cloud9 takes the match over Echo Fox.
And Cloud9 in striking distance of 3rd place and having a much better seed in playoffs. With Team Liquid faltering today, and Cloud9 just looking on the up and up, showing more strategies. Vel'Koz mid playing the top side. And that beautiful play of the Thresh during this entire game.
We've been actually seeing a few things. That Zillion that's coming out lately. GBM brought out a Xerath today. Now we're seeing as well a little more Vel'Koz. So mid lane options opening up as well with, like you said, a patch coming that's going to affect lane swaps. Mid laners get to tango a little bit longer. In that sense, with helping the jungler. How is everything going to flip out there?
And that's also very interesting to me because a lot of the times we'll see last pick be saved for things like that mid lane because it was one of the only lanes that you can't lane swap out of. Now we might see it prioritize top laners a little bit more and sometimes mid laners just because the fact that having that mid lane matchup can really open up the game. And that was not a mid lane matchup that you could really pressure at all. As a Victor, like, what do you do against the Vel'Koz? He plays out of your range all game.
Right. You get somebody that clears waves almost better than you do in a sense at a certain level, and you're forced to stay there and farm the wave. Impact with an amazing series out of the top lane. A Shen game taking on KFO's Gangplank, and then a Gnar game where he did the same thing with a little bit more help from Meteos.
It's all smiles there as well from Impact. He
Of course.
had a ball there. He's like, I'm going to duel KFO over and over again. I'm going to pull 4 people to me. He had 4 deaths in that game, and there were only 5 kills for the enemy team. Yeah. So he's putting himself at risk, but he's still trusting his team. They're getting advantages. He's delaying people and really just occupying them. So I think that Impact is playing a very different type of League of Legends to appreciate because it's not that flashy. I just 1v5'd and stuff like that. It's like, I'm a 1v3 and I'm going to die, but what is my team going to get for it?
Exactly. They understand what kind of comes after the fact. We saw when we said Fox was getting that lead, they took the top turret. They could have gone for another one. And then when they backed off, Cloud9 was like, well, since they backed off, we're in a position to do this. And it seems like they can almost act on those things right away with how they set the game up.
Exactly. It's the setup. It's the great shot calling there as well. I give props to Meteos for visiting that lane frequently and then knowing when to stop. That's actually a big thing because top laners, leave him alone after they get fed. Let him do his thing. Focus the rest of the map because the enemy jungler goes, oh man, this top laner's out of control. I got to go there. And he just pulls it up to that top lane and you're like, okay, now I gank bottom. Numbers advantage, let's go.
Also in a sense of jungling, that game 2, the beginning, is just very interesting to see how Meteos adapted to Hard just sitting in his jungle, spending each other's time, and then for a jungler, how they came out of that was actually quite interesting as well as Meteos coming ahead. So before we head to the analysts, let's check in with Freak, who has an interview with Cloud9's mid laner.
Thank you very much, Riv. Great cast on the day. I am here with Jensen, the Vel'Koz awesomeness. Talk to me about what caused you to pick this champion in the mid lane.
So we had a team comp that could pretty much do anything in fights. Like we could either dive in or like peel back, you know? And I was thinking Cassio, but Cassio is not really that great at following up. So I needed something that could like help dive in if that's what we wanted to do. And Vel'Koz is a very long-range champion with good wave clear. So I think it's a pretty underrated champion and it's pretty good.
You said it's underrated. What's keeping more people from sort of bringing out this great champion like Vel'Koz?
Well, I think the last patch, he was not that good because he was outshined by the other mid laners. But now that the core mid laners like got nerfed, like Victor and all of those, I think he's a much better pick than he was before. So yeah.
All right, makes sense. Thank you very much for that answer. I want to talk to you then about this match because you 2-0'd, you've actually now guaranteed the 3rd seed. Your game record's better than CLG's. Even if they tried to tie you in matches, you'd still take it. So what does it mean to now lock in that you're getting 3rd seed into the playoffs?
It's pretty good because we're going to face off against, who is it, Envy?
It'll be Envy or Apex. It's undecided right now.
Yeah, we're much happier facing those than like CLG or FLICKR for that matter because they're pretty strong teams and all matches against them can go either way, I think. But I feel versus Envy or Apex, we have a much better shot at beating them.
And so looking a bit farther forward, then if you do well in that one, you've got top 4, then you get Immortals as your next opponent, and then from there, you know, maybe it's just an automatic berth in the Worlds, maybe you play in the Gauntlet. What's sort of next up for C9? Where are your eyes?
Well, we're just going to focus on the matches, just play our own game and see how it goes. I'm not really too worried. I think if we just keep improving and practicing a lot, we have a good shot at taking down Immortals and maybe even TSM.
Cool, and then we'll see you at Worlds representing North America?
Yeah, for sure.
And you're going to win Worlds for North America? Yeah, for sure?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, thank you very much. Jensen, congratulations on the 2-0 win. Congrats on the 3rd seed. We will see you in playoffs. Good luck with that one. For now, I'm going to send it down to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Freak. Cloud9 locking in that 3rd seed for the playoffs here with their 2-0 victory over Echo Fox. So they're going to be very happy to be holding on to that, meaning they play that 6th seed, either going to be Envy or Apex if they make a really strong run into the playoffs. Breaking down this game in and of itself, though, we got to take a look at that champ select, as we mentioned, or as was just mentioned in the interview. Vel'Koz coming out in response to the victor.
They don't even have a graphic for him.
Don't even have
he doesn't exist.
That's actually, well, that ties in perfectly to Freak's question then, right? Which is, why is this champion getting played? Why does Incarnation feel because nobody expected
they can't find it.
To be
They're trying to pick it, but he's not there. It's just the blind.
Well, all the champions that got reworked with that big mage rework actually ended up being really strong. Vel'Koz being one of them. He didn't get that big of a tweak, but his numbers were kind of buffed up a bit. But he is just really hard to play. It's not a
It's all
easy
skill
champion.
shots. Literally,
Yeah,
like everything
so
is a skill shot.
I think that's why we just don't see it. I think Jensen being a great mid laner can pull it off.
Absolutely fair. And then, as you mentioned, the fact that when that rework came through, he was kind of one of the underpowered of the lot. They did give him some buffs, which I think went mostly unnoticed by people in the wake of a powerful Swain, powerful Vladimir, powerful Malzahar. Nobody was thinking about putting that, that passive damage back on the ultimate and giving Vel'Koz a lot of his DPS back.
Right. There's a couple of factors too. Like he was never meta, so you never had like a top lane, like a top tier player who was like really practiced on it. Bjergsen broke it out a couple times, but it's not like, oh, I used to play Ryze all the time. He's got a little buff now. It's a champion people aren't familiar with, and then he's not super unique in the sense that he brings a ton that the others don't. You heard there. He was thinking Cassio for matchup, but then wanted a little bit better follow-up, so it's more of like a niche, does it a little bit better. So that's why you don't see some of these more fringe picks, because you can get a lot more practice and a lot more situations.
Now, game 2 here was very similar to game 1 in that we saw Echo Fox making mistakes left and right, C9 capitalizing on a majority of them, and playing the game to relative perfection. We, again, just like game 1, we saw a botched fight for Cloud9 as well that extended the game a little bit here in game 2. But the only replay we have, 10 minutes, 10:30 into the game, so very early on, 1 for 0 in the bot lane. Impact going to TP in to help out with
And
it.
they have TP advantage on Cloud9's part because KFO used his on the top lane, and immediately they're making a play on the bottom lane and then just pull the trigger on an easy gank, and they just get a nice little kill on Fox. And look at where KFO is on the minimap. A completely just mistimed synergy. You have absolutely no business going for a play on the bottom side, and C9 doing the right thing while Fox is just completely ignorant to it.
Yeah, you can't even really call it well executed. It starts with Keith getting hooked. Even if you were trying to force a play bot side, that's not how you want it to go in the first couple moments.
So beta Rooney.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I can't wait to dash out from this bait. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. So that's the only replay we have because honestly, it is very tough, with this Echo Fox squad to determine, what they need to fix as their number one priority. It's a squad that seems to be struggling in all elements of the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
It's
So
like
there it is.
individual skill picks, wave management, synergy, comms. I mean, we're going to go through every single aspect of being a team here. And it's no easy way to put it, to be honest.
Not painting a pretty picture for them moving into that promotion tournament. Now on the flip side for Cloud9, Impact definitely showed up a little bit today. Going to grab player of the game again here. Map pressure, big on the Gnar, into the Fiora. The pressure game against the Fiora is important. If you can hold off or delay her split push dominance there in that Gnar matchup, that's what you're going to need to win.
Right, it's a little bit of a skill matchup where if the Gnar does get front of head, he has the threat to solo killer. Similarly, if the Fiora gets really ahead, she can take over. And I think it's just the fact that C9's a better team that he's able to get ahead of the skill matchup and then really take over the game with it.
Well, he did end up having quite a bit of practices with all the all-ins that kept happening, so you can just kind of get better at the matchup. And it was kind of pioneered by Meteos going with a couple of gank swords on top side, helping him out. And once you get lanes like that going, it's just so hard to come back. You're going to have to wait till 4 items to actually make it back into the game, which is not a good window for you to win.
Very much so. Well, with the Apex victory over Team Liquid earlier today, this was all C9 needed to lock in that 3rd seed. They're going to be very happy to be walking away today, knowing that they've locked in 3rd seed for the playoffs, and tomorrow is now just a show match, really, against Team Liquid. For now, though, that's going to do it for NALCS 1. We're going to throw you over to NALCS 2, where Phoenix 1 and Immortals are currently starting up Game 3 here to close out the day.
He wasn't able to get any